third episode of TextSPACE ReCIRCLE. So I am Najmus Sakib, Subeditor of TextSPACE Today and the host for today's webinar. So TextSPACE Today is a leading textile and apparel media platform focused on sustainability, precision, automation, circularity, and inner energy in the textile industry. And TextSPACE ReCIRCLE is an initiative by TextSPACE Today to promote dialogue, collaboration, and innovation in the textile industry. So dear audience, textile printing is undergoing a significant shift, and this shift is driven by the market because the customer demand is changing. Speed to market is now a concern, and competition is increasing, and sustainability is a big pressure from the global brands. If we look at the market share of the different textile printing methods, we will see that rotary skin printing still holds 65%, flat screen still holds 15%, digital holds 20%. But the digital printing is the fastest growing segment, and it is estimated that close to 15% compound annual growth rate CAGR through 2030. So today we will discuss, is digital textile printing reshaping production economics? So let me introduce our panelists. We have Ashraful, Director of Printing, MN Dyeing Printing and Washing Mills Limited, and Changshi, Business Development Director, DPI Technology as well. Ritter, Xiong, Sales Manager at Atexco. I welcome you all to today's webinar, and your insights will add great value to the industry. Okay, so I would like to go to Mr. Ritter, that I have told that rotary screen printing still holds 65% of the global market. So what economic or operational factors are keeping conventional printing still dominant despite the rapid technological development in digital printing segment?
Okay, so this is primarily an economic consideration, and the biggest bottleneck lies in ink costs. Traditional color paste and dyes are extremely cheap, while professional digital inks are highly expensive by comparison. When you need to print more than 100,000 meters of fabrics, the economics of scales of rotary printing easily become apparent. Yeah, so in bulk production, the speed of rotary printing remains unmatched. However, Atexco's new ink factory is about to begin production. This is currently the world's largest digital printing ink factory. As production volume increases, comprehensive cost will gradually decrease and become close to conventional printing. Another technical weakness of current digital technology is deep color penetration. On thick fabrics, conventional printing can push dyes deeper into the fibers through physical compression. And current standard digital print has still fall short in this regards. To address this, Atexco has introduced a high penetration solution. This brand new technology allows the penetration effort to close match conventional printing. And for digital printing to capture further market share, the industry needs to make efforts in three areas. Yeah, the first one, we need to significantly reduce the cost of bulk inks. And the second one, we need continuous output speed that can truly rival rotary machines. And finally, we still need to develop better penetration technologies and ink formulations to solve penetration issues of thick fibers.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ritter. I would like to go to Mr. Changshi, that digital textile printing is growing at close to 15% compound annual growth rate, whereas the overall textile printing is growing at a 9.3% compound annual growth rate, or CAGR, through 2030. So from a business perspective, what are the key drivers you think behind this growth, and where are the biggest opportunities for the manufacturers?
I believe it's gonna be, if you visit the Pakistan market, most of the digital, at least 2 or 3 years ago, most of the digital players, not traditional one, they have no such experience in terms of traditional. They're just because they don't really have money to invest big rotary screen printers. But for digital printer, it's easy to invest. The volume the invest not very high, and the ROI, the return of the investment, is very high, normally in 1 or 2 years. It's not something like a traditional one, like 5 to 10 years. You can get the money, you can get your money investment back. Another thing I believe is because the traditional printing is more sophisticated than the digital one. If you do the traditional one, you have to be You have to have like a very trained the people to make the plate, train the people to do
To
the
develop the
registration.
skill, it takes much more time in conventional.
Yes, exactly. That's the reason you will find that if you are going to invest into the textile printing, you will find that the digital textile printing is easy to do, rather than go to the traditional one. That's the reason you will find that the traditional screen printing makers, they don't really have any sales, especially for the machine makers, they don't really have
Yeah.
sales recently. I mean, even for the second-hand machine, previously very popular, but today nobody buy it. They just scratch it as a trash. It's not very useful today, I believe. That's the part of my idea about this.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ashraf. Okay, so Mr. Ashraf, one of the major advantages often discussed about digital textile printing is the waste reduction and improved productivity. So, in practical factory operations, how much productivity is increased in terms of resource efficiency, sampling speed, or inventory management?
In digital printing, resource reduction is mostly in water consumption, energy, and chemical consumption also. In water consumption, around 80 to 90% waste reduction we can do, and chemical reduction around 60 to 80% reduction we can do, and energy saving almost 50 to 75%. But depending on process, it can vary. Let's see, pigment printing, waste reduction and energy saving is more compared to the reactive printing, because in reactive printing digitally, even though we have to use steam and wash. And production speed, digital printing, if we consider that there is less setup time, screen use, so that the registration is very precise. So production speed is comparatively better than rotary and flatbed, even though the machine speed is less, but the productivity is better. And waste reduction, we can do less fabric wastage, we can do less chemicals wastage, because of there is no chemical preparation, no residual chemicals in the drum. And fabric, we don't need to start up fabric, lot of startup fabric, less startup fabric we can use for digital printing. So we can save lot of fabric and chemicals. And speed comparatively is better, because even though the machine is less, but the production speed is high because of the less startup time, less short up. And for small production, let's say in the rotary, small bulk has takes more time, color correction time, screen setup times. A lot of time is wasted there. But in digital printing, there is not much color correction times, and there is no screen setup time. So we can save a lot of times. And waste reduction, also we can save water, we can save fabric wastage. In that way, we can see the digital printing is practically also we are benefited.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Ashraf. I would like to go to Mr. Ritter now. That factories that are already running rotary or flatbed screen printing, so how they can adopt this digital textile printing? So should they use it for sampling purposes or a shorter product quantity, or they can allocate bulk quantity for a digital textile printing?
Okay, so from the perspective of the actual operation of the factory, if the factory already have rotary or flatbed lines, the smartest approach at present is to regard digital printing as a very powerful complementary tool. The greatest advantage of digital printing at present is extremely flexibility. It completely skips the screen making process, and the preparation time is almost zero. This is simply perfect for meeting the current demands of fast fashion for rapid sampling and small batch urgent orders. Its shortcoming lies in the scale efforts. In fact, if digital equipment is used to handle those extremely large-scale continuous orders, the cost is still too high compared to traditional printing. This situation will change over time. Technological progress will naturally lead digital printing to replace part of the traditional production capacity with medium-scale batches. Atexco is currently investing a significant amount of resources in innovation and research. In the future, we will introduce faster printing heads and more stable and durable equipments like some equipment structure, thereby empowering digital printing technological and making it highly competitive in large-scale production field. That's all.
Okay, so thank you. So, Mr. Ashraf, can you share how you are using digital printing are they using for small quantity batches or for sampling purposes, or are you using them for bulk quantities?
At this moment, digital printing is better for a small quantity because in traditional printing, small quantity cost is very high and time consuming also. So it makes sense that small quantity is not feasible in traditional printing. So we have now the opportunity to do the better performance in digital printing for a small bulk. So I prefer for a small production and also for lucrative and very much critical design better in digital printing.
Okay, thank you. So I would like to go to Mr. Changshi that textile digital printing is already growing, and as the textile digital printing is growing, the ink or the printhead market is also growing. And we have a report that the ink market is growing around 20% annually. So how are the suppliers and manufacturers are getting ready to grab this opportunity?
Say that again.
The digital ink market is also growing, and we have a report that the growth is 20% annually. So how are the suppliers and manufacturers are trying to get into the ink market, or how are the suppliers can get benefited or grab the opportunity of this ink market rapid growth?
Okay. So actually, when I get into this industry, I was an ink sales guy, and back to the 2016, the reactive ink is about like 25 US dollars, a euro, something like this, And at that time, most of the printers is 16 printhead printers. But today, the reactive printer, the ink, going down to something like 5-6 US dollars per kg per liter. So basically, when the ink is getting cheaper and cheaper, so basically the digital printer is the digital printing pool is getting bigger and bigger because more job could be done with the digital printer.
Yeah, there was a cost barrier. So if the digital ink is now costless, so the production or the adoption of digital textile printing will increase.
Yes, the more job could be adapted from with the digital printer. And don't forget, I need to add something because actually from the ink process stage point of view, it's a big pollution.
Yeah.
But then there's when one ink factory supply 100, 200, 1,000 printing factory, basically it's something like the collect all the pollution within the ink manufacturer rather than let the printer to pollute. Look, you know what I mean? Because for ink manufacturer, a big ink manufacturer, they have their way to recycle, to do this pollution process within the ink factory. There's another big gain we can get from the digital printing process, especially from the ink point of view. Even though like a reactive ink does cause the pollution at the process, but from a big picture point of view, they collect all the pollution at the ink process stage rather than at each printer factory.
Okay, so thank you. So what are your views, Mr. Ritter, regarding the ink market?
Yeah, so our new ink factory in Tianjin, China is almost beginning to production. So we believe with the production begins, ink cost will close to the conventional like color paste, and I think it's a very good chance to help the digital printer market to like expanding the market, and also I think the future trend is the pigment. So because of its environment friendly and save a lot of chemicals, waters, it's future trend. Thank you.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Maybe I want to add something about the pigment.
Sure.
The thing is it's because the more hybrid fabric, just blended fabric is turning more popular. So you will find that the reactive does not fit into this market. Some of the it's blended with the polyester, with like a lino or with the cotton together.
Cotton,
does not fit with the reactive. So in this case, you have to do with the pigment, but this blended fabric is turning more and more popular. Previously we believe the cotton is the best, but today you find they're like most of the big brand, they always use the polyester as the key fiber to manufacture their clothes, So where we believe the digital will turning more and more popular. It's just because the fabric trend is changing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So I would like to go to Mr. Ashraf that digital textile printing is getting faster day by day and it's getting almost closer to the rotary screen printing. So do you see that eventually digital textile printing will replace the rotary screen printing or the conventional printing technologies?
Actually, at this moment, we are getting few machines which can run 90 to 100 meter per minute. So
Yeah.
we can say that it can compete with the rotary speed. Even though the production capacity will be more in digital because of less setup time, less color correction times. So comparatively, rotary, we can say the productivity is better in digital with the kind of machines. But important is the cost. Digital printing cost is higher than traditional printing cost. For bulk production, for basic production, till now, rotary is better because of the cost. Ink cost is less in rotary, and the production running cost is also less because of the single pass machine that can run 90 to 100 meter per minute that cost a huge amount of printing heads and highly technical machine. So there is a lot of technical support is required that cost more in the digital machine for that kind of machine. So till now, I can say rotary is better because of the cost perspective, and digital maybe the for fast fashion and for the quality and expensive type, exclusive type of designs that is better for the digital.
Okay, so thank you. Okay, so Mr. Ritter, how do you see digital textile printing in the next 5 years? I mean, how Atexco is planning, as Ashraf sir has said, that cost is still a barrier, though the ink price has decreased a lot. So how do you see the prospect of digital textile printing?
Yeah, I think the next trend is absolutely the single pass. Yeah, and I think the pigment single pass is has the best prospect. Yeah, in some countries like in Africa, there are conditions that some fabric sealers want to do the print by themselves, so they have no any pre and post treatment equipments and even have no any experience in traditional printing. So they just want to do the digital printing, because it is our latest technology. So the pigments will be very simply to them, from the process. The whole process is just like you need to use one printer and just one oven. You can finish all things. Yeah, so I think is next 5 years.
Okay. So thank you, Mr. Ritter. I would like to go to Mr. Changshi. That how do you see digital textile printing performing in the next 5 years?
Okay, so I believe the more and more traditional textile printing maker will also get into this market. That's something like we're gonna repeat what we do at the Pakistan, at the China, because currently I believe most of the players in this market they do small jobs, that do something special, but gradually, especially when their traditional analog rotary printer is dead, they're getting it's not very young, and then the new investment will obviously get into digital printing. So when you have more and more digital printers, so more and more the printing job will get into digital printing process. And also the design will fit to the digital printing process. That's something I'm very expected. I believe that's the same thing happened with the ceramic. If you check the ceramic printing history, they spend like 10 years to completely replace the traditional one. It's a trend, but you need the time.
Okay. Get to your point. Okay, so Mr. Ashraf, from Bangladeshi perspective, if someone is investing in textile printing, what do you think that man should invest in digital textile printing or the conventional printing? And the same question in Bangladeshi perspective, that how much digital textile printing will grow in Bangladeshi market in the next 5 years?
In my sense, in future, there is an opportunity for digital printing. So if anyone can invest, so they can invest in digital printing. It's in my opinion. And in future, I think there is a good opportunity in Bangladesh also for digital printing, because digital printing is the future of world printing, and digital printing can replace traditional printing. And also we have to adopt the digital printing because of the salary is increasing, energy cost is increasing. So if we can save and reduce our production cost, we also think about that energy and the salary of the workers and the infrastructure places, everything cost is higher and day by day increasing. So we have to consider digital print for future. So I think in future there is a good opportunity for grow digital market in Bangladesh.
Okay, so thank you. So in this webinar, we have seen that ink prices are still high if we compare it rotary screen printings, though the prices decrease significantly if we compare digital textile ink. But still, if we compare it with rotary screen printing, price is still high, and speed. Digital textile printing is still slower than the rotary screen printing, and the dye penetration is low. So, in bulk production, these are the factors that are limiting the manufacturers to adopt them in bulk production. So, in digital textile printing, they are using it for shorter runs, shorter quantities, and for fast fashion products or the products they want to manufacture quickly. Okay, so in near future, we are expecting that digital textile printing will be adopted in the bulk production stages, and limitations, as Mr. Ritter has shared, that Atexco is already working with how dyes can penetrate well in the fabrics, and the future of pigment printing if we see that reactive printing is still harmful to the environment. Okay, so we have come to the end of today's webinar. So we arrange this type of webinar monthly from TextSPACE Today, where we invite industry experts, thought leaders, and brand representatives and technology suppliers to share their views and experiences and discuss about different technologies and trends. So we are closing now. So I am inviting you to